Welcome class 5 in your science class. This is your science class and we were doing soil conservation. I have told you about the soil conservation, what is soil conservation and about the ways how to conserve the soil. So, here afforestation, growing plants in the farmland, whatever I have completed this in your class, but now we will 2 and 3 more methods are given for the soil conservation. First one is avoiding overgrazing. So what is this overgrazing? Overgrazing means, what is overgrazing? We will write it. Avoid overgrazing. Second one is construction of the embankment. Construction of embankment. And third one is step farming. So the first one is avoiding overgrazing. When the cattle or the herd they start to eat the food, when they start to graze the field, that time they graze that much that sometimes they even eaten up the roots of the plants. And when once they have eaten up the roots of the plants, these places are being due to the uprooting of the plants, the soil of these places are being loosened up. As they are being loosened up now, the force of the wind or the force of the water can carry these loose soil easily away from them. Okay, so they can easily carry it from that place, and this is in this way the overgrazing is also a very strong step, or you can say it's a very important step to stop, so that we can consume the soil, or we can conserve the soil more. Next one is construction of the embankment. What is the embankment? When we are making some kind of high wall or some kind of the things which are barrier for the soil to taking away from one place to another place, that is the embankment. Even have you seen nearby the bank of the river or on the both side of the river, sometimes we make the cemented wall. So why we are making this cemented wall? We are making this cemented wall so that the water cannot just overflow from that wall and enter inside the village and destroy all the crops. So it is a easy and convenient way to stop the soil conservation as well as to stop the overflow of the water from the river side. So this is called the embankment. It is written here also, strong embankments of the rocks and stone constructed on both the side of the river or stream help prevent floods in adjoining fields and prevent soil erosion. So this is a kind. Well, I'm very sorry. I just before I said stop soil conservation. It is not actually conservation. It is soil erosion. Okay. So by constructing this embankment, we can stop the soil erosion and the flooding, the water of the flooding, so that it cannot enter inside the village. Next one is the step farming. So as we know, hills are like these. So if the water falls on in the time of the rainy season, it is easy for the soil to slide over this slopey area, and they can easily carry it away from the hillside to the river, or it can remove the topmost soil of that area by the force of the water. So if we make the step farming, that means if we cut the hillside into the steps, so it will just make a hindrance, or you can say it will become the slopey region, and there will be formation of the step. Just like the steps we use for climbing up anywhere. So this is the step farming, and by this way we can slow down the uh, soil erosion from the hilly areas. We cannot totally stop this kind of erosion, but we can at least slow the speed of driving away or just taking away the soil from this kind of slopey regions. Okay, so this is also a very good way to stop the soil erosion. Now the step farming, once we will read this. On hill slopes, the flow of the rainwater is very rapid. It carried away a lot of fertile topsoil. Farming is done by cutting a step in the hill slopes. This method is called the terrace or step farming. This reduces the speed of water as it flows down and therefore reduces the soil erosion. Also, the soil eroded from one step is deposited on the next step. This further reduces the loss of fertile topsoil. So this is a good way. Suppose it is the water is falling on the step, and so maybe it is carried from with the force of the water, so it will just soil can be stopped here and they can be deposited in the next step, and it will not so easy to carry this kind of from this kind of steps to carry the water along to carry the soil along with the force of the water. Maybe it will happen, but it will reduce the speed. Okay, so this is a very good method to stop the soil erosion. The soil eroded from one step is deposited on the next, and this way we can slow down, further reduces the loss of the fertile topsoil. So these all of the methods we have just quickly revise. First one is the afforestation, means planting of more and more trees can stop the soil erosion. Second one is growing plant in the farmland. We don't have to leave the farm barren, or we can just after a crop, after the harvesting of one crop, we can plant at least on the boundaries we can plant some hedges or some kind of a small shrubs or trees, so that it will stop the soil erosion. Next one is the avoid overgrazing. You will see the plants or the grasses are being reduced to the level, so we should have to stop the animals to enter inside that field, so that it can be reduce the soil erosion. Fourth one is construction of the embankment, and the fifth one is step farming. So I have explained all of these methods to you. If you have any kind of problem regarding any method, you can ask me in my next class. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.